All right, so now we're going to continue with part two of our ethics and social responsibilities. The first part was all about ethics and ethical decision makings. We talk about the difference between morals and ethics and some of the terms that you need to know. Now we're going to get more into social responsibility and how an organization really can be sustainable and really can keep the values of social and social norms in the forefront as they make their decisions. At the end of this video, of course, will be a couple of discussion questions. Please type them up and turn them into me. So with that being said, let's get right into social responsibility and ethics, or part two of ethics and social responsibility. So as I stated in the introduction and in the opening, corporate social responsibility is business's concern for society and society's welfare, and that includes economic society, that includes the environment, that includes nonprofits, that includes those that are less unfortunate, etc. All of those things are part of corporate social responsibility. It is my opinion, and this is only my opinion, is that not only should businesses engage in corporate social responsibility, they have an ethical right to do so. They should give back. Oftentimes, organizations take a lot from the community, and they should give back to the community. And that is just simply my opinion, for what it's worth. Stakeholders, in the stakeholder theory is that ethical theory states that corporations have a responsibility to all their stakeholders. Employees are stakeholders, management are stakeholders, other stakeholders are customers, other stakeholders are the local community in which an organization operates. For instance, the Rochester community for Xerox or Kodak, or Strong Memorial Hospital, or University of Rochester, which I think University of Rochester is the major employer here in the area. Or Sweeteners Plus, where I live, down in Livonia, have a responsibility to give back to the community in which they live and in which they reside. And they do give back by employing people, by paying wages, by doing all those types of things. They are giving back. But I mean, give back beyond that. Donate to local charities, help with food banks, make sure that they're environmentally sustainable. Those types of things, I think, are as important as employing people within the organization. Suppliers and owners are also stakeholders, all within the organization. So here's a chart of typical stakeholders in a corporation. This chart is kind of important. It's hard to see in this particular video, so I'm going to have you take a look at it either in the book or take a look at it within the PowerPoints that I have posted on Blackboard. So the pyramid of corporate social responsibility says there's really four levels: economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic. One level is not more important than the other, but there are four levels. And the pyramid of corporate social responsibility says that economic performance is the foundation. It's the first pillar, or the first pyramid, because if in fact a organization is not economically sound, if they're not making a profit, then they're not a corporation anymore. That economic also goes to paying a fair wage for the employees who work there. Remember, the invisible hand theory from Adam Smith says that wealth begets wealth. If you pay a living wage, if people make money by working in your organization, they will buy from other companies around there, and other businesses will thrive, like restaurants and dressmakers and those types of things. So the pyramid says that economic is the first. Then you've got a legal responsibility to do the right thing. You've got an ethical responsibility for sustainability. And finally, you've got a philanthropic responsibility to give back to nonprofits and to the community. There's the for and the against arguments for corporate social responsibility. The for argument is it's the right thing to do, and they are businesses, they do make money, they should give back to the community. The more businesses do it voluntarily, the less government regulations there has to be. That tends to be the conservative point of view, where we don't want big government. We want companies to give back and companies to maintain the sustainability. And also, it can be profitable. There is a lot of research that says that people will buy from a company that is sustainable rather than buy from someone who isn't. The against arguments would be that it takes away from profits. I don't believe that, by the way. So corporate responsibility has grown over the years because of the increasing pressure from the governments, the increasing pressure from lobbyists, the increasing pressure from society. The other thing is no one can hide anymore. With the advent of the internet and these cameras and everything, people know what you're doing. They know the decisions that you're making, and it tends to go viral. So because you can't hide anymore, because of the advent of the internet and these cameras and everything else, companies are being more socially responsible. That's a good thing. The other thing is that around the globe, the United Nations and other lobbyists are really forcing companies to do that, or they're getting crucified in the press. Remember, we talked about that in part one when we talked about ethical responsibility. So sustainability is the idea that socially responsible companies will outperform their peers, focusing on social and economic and environmental problems and fixing those problems as they move forward. Environmentally sustainable companies are more profitable because people want to buy from them. They should maximize what they give back and minimize what they take out. Developing processes, structures in order to do that. Sustainability is an excellent career path for many people. Recycling, taking a look at emissions, all those types of things. Look at M&M Mars, the candy bar, or the candy company, M&M Mars. They are going to be totally off fossil fuels by 2020. That's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. So supply chain sustainability is the global compact. It has really four elements: environmental, human rights, labor, and corruption. Environment means you shouldn't harm the environment. Human rights means you should treat people fairly in their jobs and pay them a living wage. Labor and labor rights means that people have a right to a fair wage. People have a right to non-indentured labor. They shouldn't have child labor. There should be no slave labor out there. And we should treat labor as not just an asset, but as human beings. And then finally, corruption, which has to do with bribery and other things like that. So the United Nations have a supply chain sustainability. It was launched almost 20 years ago in the year 2000. It is a voluntary organization that people can join. There's over 8,000 participants in 135 countries. Some of them are Toyota, Kubota, quite a few here in the United States. As a matter of fact, most of the Fortune 1000 are part of this global compact. And it's really endorsed by key executives in the largest global firms. GE got involved in it and others like that, which has really helped move this initiative forward. And the Global Compact, as I said before, really has four main components with human, environment, labor, and corruption. Green marketing is marketing saying that you're sustainable, marketing your sustainability so that people will understand what you're doing. It actually attracts customers. New customers can come by because of it. And I truly believe that by doing the right thing, you can be more profitable. Remember, Marketing people are out there to drive revenue. We drive revenue by getting new customers. If we can show that we're sustainable, if we can show that we're sustainable at a good profit, then we can attract new customers and new people to our market. Leaders in social responsibilities. Many companies name are at the top of the list: Patagonia, Tom's Shoes. Many companies are very sustainable out there. They give back, they're philanthropic. Look at Ch3. Ch3 is a very philanthropic company because of their leader, Tom Golisano. Tom Golisano is one of the most philanthropic people on this planet, along with Bill Gates, the Bill and Linda Foundation, quite a few. Steve Jobs was very philanthropic. Those people are often giving back to the community, giving back. So there are leaders in social responsibilities, and it really helps with that corporate image and helps with the corporations. And then the final concept that we're going to talk about today is cause-related marketing. And cause-related marketing was an organization teams up with another organization to bring about social change, to help with nonprofits, to bring about developments, etc. The best one I can think of is the NFL and the breast cancer awareness. The first week in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, all of the NFL players wear pink to help with that. And then the NFL has a donation line to breast cancer awareness. Kentucky Fried Chicken. I've never actually had a bucket of chicken, but in October, it's Buckets for the Cure. And every time you buy a bucket of chicken, you get, I can't even imagine eating chicken out of a bucket, but that's just me. Any time you buy a bucket of chicken, they give to breast cancer awareness. There's many. Tom's Shoes, I just mentioned them. Cause-related marketing, they donate shoes to the needy for every shoe that you buy. All those types of things are cause-related marketing, and it really does help with an organization, and it does help with society. So here's your discussion questions. Just one, actually, discussion question. Please, as I've said before, type those up and type this up and provide it to me when we get together, either on Tuesday or Thursday. And with that being said, that concludes our video lectures for this week.